My name is Craig, and I'll be guiding the service this morning. The topic is Awaking in Humility. As I begin my talk today, I'd like to welcome you all to this beautiful sanctuary on this beautiful fall day. And the colors are magnificent in the trees turning their fall colors. And the animals here are so blessed, and we are blessed to have all the living souls in the animals, this divine spirit in all the animals that surround us. Our topic today revolves around the time of year that we're in. For those that know a little about astrology, that this is kind of the month of Sagittarius, which in the Sunburst teachings, the virtue that's assigned to this month is humility. And we just experienced the Thanksgiving, which is a time to express our gratitude for the many blessings that we have in our lives. And the previous vibration, which is Scorpio, is the vibration virtue of courage. And I'd like to read a few things that Mother Teresa said. She was such an example of humility. And the quote that is assigned on the ministry sheet for humility is, "Be humble in your confidence and courageous in your character." So as I thought about that, I thought of Mother Teresa, who, as a young person, as a nun, went to India to help all the homeless, all the destitute people. And this was a very humbling experience for her, and it demanded a lot of courage, personal courage. So she really had a life that illustrated this essence that courage and humbleness go together. She said, there are a few ways that we can practice humility. One is to speak as little as possible of oneself. And then, now these are a little strong, but she actually, in her life, in her situation, and we can think of other people that, like Gandhi or Jesus, who had to really exercise their courage and their humility at the same time. To mind one's own business, not to want to manage other people's affairs, to avoid curiosity, to accept criticism and correction cheerfully, to pass over the mistakes of others, to accept insults and injuries, to accept being slighted, forgotten, and disliked, and to be kind and gentle even under provocation. Never to stand on one's dignity, and always to choose the hardest. And these were, for me, that was kind of in a way that, for my life, that's kind of scary, because you really put yourself out, and sometimes you have strong reactions to getting harsh criticism. And I wanted always to belittle myself, and what did I do wrong? And what caused that person to do that? I mean, it's like, oh. And then on top of that, to be calm and to be loving, those are real challenges. And I think Jesus exemplified that wonderfully when he had to confront all the judgments from the Pharisees and from the Romans, and remain in this calm, centered place. And it was able to connect with the Divine Spirit and give an unconditional love to all. The famous quote, "Father, not my will, but thy be done." And Jesus allowed the higher will beyond the ego to guide his actions going forward. And this quote, it's kind of hard to, it's kind of reverse, but it's basically what Mother Teresa said. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, but it's thinking of yourself less. And one way of practicing humility in a situation where you're with somebody is just be a better listener. I know a lot of times in conversations, I have a lot of, knowledge about a lot of different subjects and different things and experiences being on this earth for a long time, not a long time, but it's coming up, getting up towards 8:00, but in a little bit, in a little bit, yeah. So, yeah, you have to be quiet. And the thing is, when I'm listening to somebody, it's invariably, all these thoughts come up, especially if we're sharing experiences. And sometimes it becomes like a oh, I've got a better experience than that, or and then the other person counters, oh, I've got a better experience, and back and forth and back and forth. It's like the fish catching a fish, and boy, I caught this big fish, and boy, I caught even a bigger fish, and so you get into this back and forth, and then you really end up not knowing too much about that other person. And but Norm Paulson was such a good example for me because he had such a strong presence of humility. Here was a man who was a direct disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda. He had some incredible inner spiritual experiences. He had continually unfolding messages from Divine Spirit, and yet you'd see him and he'd be, on the ship, sailing the ship, and he'd be talking to a person, and he'd ask the person, "What do you think about this?" And rather than expounding all these concepts and everything. So, but I think it's true when a person achieves great inner wisdom and knowing, he has the discernment how to share that, so that the person he's talking to can best receive it when it's ready to be received. And of course, one way we can talk, we can express our insights is through writing, music, and art. And these concepts will help give to other people. Vincent van Gogh, who was a very troubled young man, he had psychotic episodes, but he had a passion for nature and for feeling the energies and patterns in nature. And in his lifetime, he couldn't really sell any work. Fortunately, other people helped preserve his work. And recently, one of his paintings sold for $65 million. So that art is something that keeps on giving without that person being there and that person in knowledge. So another quote is from Ali, the first imam of the Shia branch of Islam. "I will conceal the good that I have done to others while advertising the good that others have done to me." And how often do we do something and we maybe kind of expect a reward or an acknowledgement? And that's something that, by being humble, by practicing humility, we just let it go. We don't advertise it. And this is karma yoga. When we do something, it's the action that's important. It's not the end result. The sanctuary is built on the selfless service of many, many souls over the years. And Sunburst is built on thousands of individual souls who have given their time and energy to Sunburst, this mission, and the teachings of Norm, and the blessings and the encouragement from Yogananda to Norm many years ago. Life is a long lesson in humility. It's a continual process of learning and self-reflection throughout life. And life inevitably presents us with challenges. But as we overcome these challenges and gain more wisdom, we're able to help others that may be going through these similar paths in their lives through their karma or through their actions. And that's what life is. It's a gaining of wisdom to help others. And Mother Teresa she really incorporated that into her philosophies. Norman Paulson said, "How can I not express humility observing the awesome vastness that surrounds me?" And this awesome vastness, it includes the stars, the immensity around us. And if we think about being grateful, about the gratefulness of our bodies and all the things that we have, the food we eat, the ability to create and sing and dance, these are gifts, and they're meant to be expressed. They're not to be belittled. But we must realize that in the practice of humility, that we push self, the preoccupation of the self away from that experience and just live in that moment, because in the moment that's all we really have. And Lahiri Mayasaya, who was the teacher of Sri Yukteswar, who was a teacher of Yogananda, he said, "Consider yourself very humble. This means do service, prayers, and maintain a feeling of being a servant to all." So as we feel the energy of this season and the love and caring, let us cultivate a grateful heart, because it is the beginning of greatness. It is a wonderful expression of humility. And then when we use the word thank you, let us realize that is bringing us gratitude, humility, and understanding. Well, we'll go into our meditative silence for about 15 minutes. Everyone would like to sit up straight. Find a comfortable seat. You want to have your knees, if you're sitting in a chair, your knees slightly lower than your hips. And then your spine away from the back of the chair, sitting comfortably, and your chin parallel to the floor. And you just want to be focused at the point of focus between the two eyes, between the temples and down from the top of the head. There's a point in there, the pituitary, where you can sit with your consciousness and just relax and be in that place throughout your meditation. You may close your eyes or keep them slightly open. And just allow the breath, breathe from the diaphragm and just allow full relaxed breaths. And if you have your own technique, you can follow with that. At the beginning of my spiritual journey in this community of Sunburst, I was living in a big house in Salt Lake City, and it had many rooms, and I was living with Norm, the founder of Sunburst, and Patty, and some other souls. During the course of the year, the building had it was made around 1900, so it didn't have any air conditioning or anything. So the people that lived in there relied on the structure of the building to keep it warm or cold. Usually in the winter, I'd go up into the attic area and sleep because it would be really warm. That's where all the warm air went. And then in the spring, I'd be in the middle rooms, and in the winter, I'd be in the basement. Well, it must have been in the spring because I was in the middle rooms, and I was meditating one night, and in the early morning, I found myself in this large field standing there. And at the edge of the field was what I thought was the sun rising, but I realized that it was still dark. And as this orb of light rose above the treetops, I was transfixed by that beautiful brilliance. And then suddenly it shot out a shaft of light towards me. And as it reached about 20 feet away, it started to curl in a beautiful spiral. And the spiral just kind of moved through me, and I woke up. And I couldn't wait to tell Norm my experience, so I went down the stairway, and they were on the first floor, and he said, "Norm, I had this wonderful experience," and then I started describing it to him, and I was really excited, thinking he would, pat me on the back and then share some of his experiences to confirm that. And then all he said was, he smiled at me and he said, "That's your confirmation." And then he went back into the kitchen to eat breakfast. So the thing about humility is that it's just a wonderful thing to see it in that beautiful soul. And there have been many times I've had that experience with him on different occasions, and I know a lot of people here have shared that too. And it's just wonderful. So I'd like to end the service with a prayer, and you can follow along with the prayer, and I'll end with some ohms that we can chant together. O Divine Spirit, I am that I am. Mother, Father, God, thank you for this life. And for giving us that creative spark within us help it to grow into a blazing light that fills this world and that helps heal all the life upon it. May the works that we do be signposts for future generations, that they may be inspired to keep your divine presence in their hearts. Amen.
Even now I hear the river of the day, daughter of the sky, singing as she plays. Even now I see the beauty light across the sky, fingers of the sunrise opening my eyes, and my soul is reaching branches up into the sky to feed. My life is but an echo in the temple of eternity. My love is like a great wind that is pressed between the stones. You'll not know where I come from, neither know where I'll be going. Even now I hear the silence, earth around the sun, mother of us all, oh son, a billion brothers one. Even now I hear the singing, angels of the Lord, sailing swiftly through the sky, a mighty ship with oars. And my soul is reaching branches up into the sky to feed. My life is but an echo in the temple of eternity. My love is like a great wind that is pressed between the stones. You'll not know where I come from, neither know where I'll be going. Even now I see the beauty light across the sky, fingers of the sunrise opening my eye. Even now I hear the wisdom from his heart, my home, a billion voices singing, silence from the throne. the stones.